Welcome to The Explainer. So, have you ever looked at someone and just wondered, how do they do it? How do some people just effortlessly crush their goals while the rest of us struggle? Well, today, we're going to break down a really simple but powerful idea called habit stacking that's all about building systems for success. All right, let's kick things off with this killer quote from James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits. What if the goals you set aren't actually the most important thing? What if the secret isn't some big, flashy goal? What if it's something way quieter, something you do every single day?
Okay, so that brings us to our first big idea, shifting your focus from just the goals to the systems that get you there.
You know, we're all wired to think about the big prize, right? The promotion, the successful project, that healthier lifestyle. But here's the twist. Obsessing over the finish line, that's not the key. The real magic is in mastering the tiny, repeatable actions that move you forward day in and day out.
All right, so if systems are the answer, how do we actually build them? Well, that's where the core concept of this whole explainer comes into play. So what in the world is a habit stack? I know, it sounds kind of technical, maybe a little intimidating, but I'm going to let you in on a secret. You are already an expert at this. Seriously, you just don't know it yet. Okay, here's the simple definition. It's just a chain of small habits linked together. One action automatically triggers the next one. There's no thinking, no debating with yourself. It just happens.
And your morning routine is the absolute perfect example of this in action. I mean, think about it. You don't drag yourself out of bed using willpower to brush your teeth, right? No way. Waking up triggers turning off the alarm. Turning off the alarm triggers starting the coffee. It's a system you've built over years, and now it's completely automatic.
Now, this is where it gets really, really cool. The power here isn't just about one little habit. It's about what happens when these small changes start to compound over time. It's all about the power of 1%.
I absolutely love this idea. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Think about it like a savings account. At first, the interest payments are tiny. You barely notice them. But you keep making those small deposits, and over time, that growth becomes exponential. The payoff isn't instant, but man, when it hits, it is enormous.
So let's really look at the math here. It all starts with this one tiny number, 1%. Just a 1% shift in what you do every day. It feels like nothing, right? But that's where all the magic is hiding.
Look at these two paths. When you start getting 1% better or 1% worse, you can't tell the difference. After a month, maybe you see a tiny gap. But fast forward a year, you're on completely different roads. One path leads to growth, to feeling in control. The other, it leads to stress and feeling like you're always behind. All from that tiny 1% choice each day. And this right here is why most people quit. They put in the work, but they don't see immediate results. So they think, what's the point? But your effort is never wasted. It's being stored. I love this analogy of an ice cube. You can heat it from 25 degrees to 26 to 27, all the way to 31. On the outside, it's still just a block of ice, but you're building up all this potential energy. And then, at 32 degrees, breakthrough. The change finally happened.
Okay, but this goes even deeper than just actions and results. There's a whole psychological layer here, because this isn't just about what you do, it's about who you become.
And that brings us to this critical point. Lasting change doesn't start with what you want to achieve, it starts with who you believe you are. It starts with your identity.
Think about it this way. Every single action you take is like casting a vote for the type of person you want to be. When you take an extra second to snap a photo to document your work, you're not just doing a task. You're casting a vote that says, I'm the kind of person who is thorough. You're not just acting professional. You are literally building the evidence, vote by vote, that you are professional.
Let's make this real with a quick story, the parable of the two technicians. They both have the same skills, same job, same opportunities. But one of them, the prepared one, has a tiny habit stack. He reviews the notes, he preps his truck for the whole day, he sets clear expectations with the customer. The other guy just wings it. By the end of the day, their worlds are completely different. The difference isn't talent, it's the system.
Okay, so how do you take all this theory and actually put it into practice? Let's talk about a simple challenge, something you can start, well, right now. Listen, the goal here is not to reinvent your entire life by tomorrow. It's way simpler than that. The goal is just to prove to yourself that you can be consistent. So choose one thing, just one tiny habit. Do it every single day this week. Track it and own it.
This really sums up the journey, doesn't it? Good teams, they talk about what they should be doing. Great teams actually build the habits. But the elite teams,
They become the habits. Excellence isn't something they do anymore. It's just who they are. All right, I'm going to leave you with this one final thought. The future you, the person you hope to be in a year, in 5 years, they are watching what you do today. Every small choice, every little habit, it's all building that person. So act accordingly. What vote are you going to cast today?